Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Scoliosis Dialogues. My name is Jaysson Brooks from the Scottish Rite Hospital for Children in Dallas, Texas. I'll be one of your podcast hosts today.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to join you. Guys, I am Dr. Arizt I from Panama. I work at the Hospital del Niño, Dr. José Renan Esquivel, the Children's Hospital in Panama. This is Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month episode. In honor of this month of celebration, we want to welcome Dr. Rolando Roberto from UC Davis. Okay, I'm so honored to be joining Dr. Rolando Roberto in this episode. So, doctor, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where were you born? How was your household like?
Well, I have roots on the same area of the planet as yourself. My mother's from Guatemala. My grandmother was Dolores de Leon, so perhaps we're distally related.
We're probably related, yeah.
And then I do have kind of a mixed ethnic heritage in that my mother is Figueroa. That's her last name. My dad is Roberto, which is an unusual last name, and that my dad is from the island of Guam. So I'm kind of half Micronesian, Polynesian, and on my mom's side, Guatemalan. And the Spaniards had an influence in Guam, just like they did in the Philippines and in Puerto Rico. And so they changed the name, which was originally many, many years ago, Roberts. It was a Welshman who jumped ship, and they changed the name from Roberts to Roberto. So I'm about as, I don't know, Heinz 57. I don't know what you say in America, but in America, people call it the melting pot. And I'm proud to be of a multi-ethnic heritage. And it's very reflective of the patient population that I serve as well.
That's amazing. So tell me, did you have any, mentors or people in your family that were in medicine that kind of showed you that you could do what you're doing now? Or were you kind of the trailblazer when it came to pursuing a career in medicine? Like, what kind of tell us about your journey of what brought you to decide that you wanted to be a doctor in the first place?
Well, my first name is Rolando, and I have an uncle, Rolando Figueroa. It's my mom's brother, and he went to medical school in Guatemala at the University of San Carlos. He came to the U.S. to do his pediatrics residency in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and did a fellowship in neonatology. So he was actually the first fellowship-trained neonatologist in Guatemala. And so he was my, role model, which was important. So that was part of the family history. So I chose to follow my uncle. My father, on the other hand, he was the only one in his family of 8 children to go to college. And he went on to get a PhD in chemistry. And my parents instilled in me that education was the key to kind of making my way. And so that wasn't, are you going to go to college, but which one you're going to go to. So that was kind of important to me.
Okay, so where did you go to medical school? How did you end up in ortho?
So that's a good question. So although I initially did think about pediatrics and oncology, I really couldn't, I wasn't very good with death. I volunteered for camps for kids who had cancer, and I just, that was not something that I could deal with. Orthopedics seemed like the patients rarely died. The outcomes were mostly positive. I did go to the University of California at Irvine for undergraduate and med school. I have given some lectures to Latinx groups, and I've showed what the cost was. So I had 4 brothers, and my dad was a scientist working for the government, and it was really a matter of which California state school or which University of California I would go to. And I'm old enough that when I went to college tuition was $242 per quarter.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
It was cheap. And medical school was about $500 per quarter. And I graduated in 1989 from medical school with almost really no debt, maybe $5,000 in debt. It was at a time when schools in California had quite a bit of state support, and it was an open door for most people, and they didn't have to go into a lot of debt.
That's excellent. So I can assume, Rolando, that there were not, maybe I'm wrong, but that there were not many Hispanic I guess, role models when you decided to pursue a career in spine surgery. Did that matter to you? Like, did you have to see someone that looked like you in order to pursue that? Or were you like, look, I've been a trailblazer all my life so far. If I'm the first, that's fine.
I think I did not see a lot of Latinos or people of Hispanic heritage in orthopedics. There was a sports medicine doc in Southern California, Carlos Prieto, who came and gave a lecture to our med school. I remember him still. He seemed very happy, very energetic. I'd have to say I was inspired by Augustus White, who was from Yale, and he was one of the pioneering orthopedic surgeons who was black or brown skinned, and Alvin Crawford was another giant who I had heard both of them say at lectures that there's not a lot of people around who look just like me. But I was amazed at their technical skill, prowess, and I had always been told by my father, if you want something, take the bull by the horns, and you'll make it happen. So it was just one of those things that was instilled in me to an early age. So I think that having my parents as role models was extremely helpful for me, and having people in the field who didn't look like me was also very comforting as well.
On the other hand, do you think your heritage caused any roadblocks in your career?
Boy, I guess that I'm aware of, no. I never aspired to be the chair of a department. I always went into medicine to take care of patients. Perhaps I should have had loftier goals of wanting to be in a leadership role. And so other than being the residency program director, which was as an educator, now that I really have only sought to be a physician who took excellent care of patients, and giving back to both my patients and to society by helping to train other young residents and medical students.
So along those same lines, there are some who say, like, look, I'm a physician. It doesn't matter that I might look different than my patients. I'm going to take care of all my patients the same way. In your experience taking care of both children and adults with scoliosis, have you seen that it mattered to the kids that go to UC Davis or go to the Shriners there that you were of Hispanic or Latino heritage? Or did they just see you like any other doctor? And maybe you could share some stories along those lines.
Well, I think I'm pretty fortunate to be Californian to the core, and most of the places that I've practiced have really served very, very rich multi-ethnic populations. I think the statistics are kind of interesting in that 40% of the people who live in California have a Hispanic background or a Latino. There's only 4% of physicians who are Latinx. So there's definitely disparities in terms of representation of Hispanics in the workforce. So I guess I've never felt that people wouldn't come and see me because of my ethnic or racial background. But on the other hand, I guess maybe I wouldn't know about it either, because maybe they go to see another physician whose name doesn't sound quite as Latino. So I've been fortunate enough to feel welcomed for my professional opinion, respected for it. So and luckily I can't say that I've been aware of any biases against me.
Okay. So you said you have brothers. What do they do?
I have 4 brothers, come from a good Catholic family. 3 of my brothers are engineers. One brother who has a master's in Latin American history and worked for the State Department and finished up his career working in kind of the financial industry. So they work all over the nation, 2 in the state of California. So again, we all went to colleges and universities, and 2 of my brothers have advanced degrees. One has a PhD in plant biochemistry. Do
you keep in touch? Are you close?
I do. I think, again, my brothers were extremely important. I'm the youngest of 5. They led the way by going to school, getting good careers. So I saw 3 of my brothers this weekend. It was my mother's 91st birthday. So we gathered as many of us together.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I know there can't be that many after the number 91. So it's a pleasure to see family and brothers, nieces, nephews, etc.
So, Rolando, you have had a storied career so far at UC Davis. What would you say when it comes to your research that you're most proud of when you've pursued various topics within the field of spine deformity?
Wow, that's a great question. So the projects that I've published most recently, I'd say, have been at reducing harm to patients. We published a paper looking at postoperative infection rates in patients with adolescent idiopathic scoliosis. It did get published in the Spine Deformity Journal, and using a protocol of IV antibiotics, intraoperative wound lavage with antibacterial solution, and placing antibiotic powder, vancomycin, and when we were able to get our infection rates, which were historically high and did result in patient harm and morbidity, we were able to reduce our AIS infection rate from 7.5% to 0.7%, and probably still improving a little bit. I just published a paper on reduction of infection in neuromuscular scoliosis in combination with our pediatric infectious disease colleagues. We have been able to get our neuromuscular wound infection rate, which was again quite high, 14%, down to below 2%. And we're working on a protocol using incisional vax and tailored antibiotics to gram-negative bacteria to, again, reduce postoperative morbidity in our most frail patients. That is my most recent publication. One of the projects I'm working on now is looking at healthcare disparities and the effect of race, ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic status on the rates of spinal surgery in the state of California. So we have the state of California's hospital discharge database, and we're looking to see what affects patients coming to see us, how large their curves are, and the rates of surgery, because there have been many papers looking at disparities in outcomes, access to surgery, rates of surgery. We would like to see that all children in California have equal access to healthcare resources, particularly bracing, physician consultation, and surgery in the state of California.
And Dr. Roberto, what's the next exciting area you will be studying?
Well, I've been a spine surgeon for 25 years, I guess, and spinal fusion has been offered to patients, but the spine is actually intended naturally to move. I'm extremely excited about motion preserving technologies for kids who need an operation. And so we're participating in studies using the vertebral body tethering device. I'm anxious to see that it provides a motion preserving option for kids who are candidates for surgery, where it'll correct the scoliosis and still allow spinal motion. That will be very beneficial to kids, particularly as they age and go on to become adults.
Dr. Roberto, we want to thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing your time. Your work is inspiring, and we look forward to catching up at many more SRS meetings. Thank you so much.
Thanks for interviewing me. This is an honor for me to be interviewed as part of the SRS as Hispanic.
Thank you very, very much, Dr. Roberto. It was really nice meeting you.
Gracias a usted. Thank you very much.
That was awesome.
Bienvenida, doctora Teresa Bas. Welcome, Doctora Teresa Bas. This is the SRS podcast. This is the series of Hispanic Heritage series. We're very excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about your background. Where were you born? Tell us a little bit about your parents, your siblings.
Thank you very much, Arizt and Jaysson. I am very excited to be here. And my name is Teresa. I born in Valencia, and I made my medical school in Valencia University. When I finished my medical degree, I went to the States for 6 months, and I am doing internal medicine and pain clinic for 6 months. And then I came back to Valencia, and I started my residency in orthopedic surgery in Valencia too, in the Hospital Universitario La Fe. And I am the first woman with my sister, Paloma, at this hospital. And when I finished my residency, I went to the States. I make a a fellowship with Dr. Rolando F in Chicago University. I made my PhD in Valencia University, and now I working as a chief of a spinal unit in orthopedic department in children and adults. And I am the first president woman in the Spanish Spine Society. I am very proud to be here, and I am very proud to be woman and a spinal surgeon, because it's a tough way to be there, really.
So that is so interesting to me, particularly about the fact that you work with your sister.
Yeah.
I would love to, know, like, did you guys both say we want to be at the forefront of spine surgery together, or did she see what you're doing and follow your lead? Like, just tell me how that started to develop. Like, how young were you guys when you both said we want to do this?
Do you know, I have the influence of my father. He's a spine surgeon. And really, I always want to be surgeon. And when I come back from the States, I thought to be a spinal surgeon is something important. And when we get the number to be residents, I pick up to be orthopedic. And my sister is behind me. And I told her, please pick up orthopedic surgeon too. And that is the reason we get together, because really it's easier to be with another woman. And I am very happy and very proud. We are together, the spinal surgeons, really.
That's so nice. I wish I had a sister to do that. So you were telling us that you were the first woman in orthopedics, orthopedic resident in your hospital, and one of the first to do spinal surgery.
Yes.
How was that? How did that affect you being in a mostly male-dominated world?
Do you know, in Spain, the women's, if you are good notes, you can get like men's. And really, I agree with you. The start is hard, because in orthopedics, all the people thought you need to be very strong. But I am really very lucky, because I am tall woman and a strong woman, and I don't feel this sense. But now I think the change, the thing changed a lot of in Spain, because now almost half of our residents, we have 20 residents, are women. And I really, the women now is involved in orthopedics like in other specialties. I think that is very impressive, but it's like this in Spain.
I would love to hear about your mentors, Dr. Bas. First off, who were your mentors when you were deciding? Well, I guess outside of your father, who was a spine surgeon, but
Yes.
who were your mentors within your country in spine surgery? And then when you came over to the US to do some training, who are those mentors? And then within the SRS, who have you found to be kind of your main supporters as you started to build your career in spine?
Do you know, my Spanish mentorship is really my father, but the European people who is helping me is Dr. Sanchez Peregreso in Madrid. And my mentor really in the United States is Dr. Rolando F. I always appreciate how he keep me. He advised me to come to Germany, because I spent 6 months with Professor Hams. I went to France with Professor Dubussy. Always, Professor De Waal recommend me to go to some place to improve my knowledge in spine surgery. And really, until now, when I have a problems, I always call him or call his son or call all the team he has there. If some case difficult, he always help me. Really, I appreciate very much his help to me as a woman, as a person, and as a surgeon, really.
And to continue down that line, within the SRS, did you find that the environment was inviting, or did you kind of feel like you had to really kind of fight your way to be recognized and be acknowledged for what you were contributing?
You know, in the SRH, I always feel like at home, because all the people help me to improve myself. And sometimes perhaps I don't have enough time to make everything I want to do because I need to work in Spain. But really, I always feel open in the society to be part of them. They put me in committees, in everything. I always really feel part of the Spine Society, like one of the members, and very comfortable. It's one of the societies I belong to that I feel more comfortable, really.
Okay, you have participated in many research projects. Can you share with us some of the newer topics you are and why you chose it?
Do you know, I work now in the epigenetics factor in predicting the scoliosis. Do you know, because I work, do you know, the research, I love research too. And I work with some people at the university, and we are working in epigenetic factor in scoliosis. And we are determining some factors who help us to predict the evolution of the scoliosis. And I think that is very important. We first pick up this topic to know some biomarkers, to know which the people is going to have scoliosis, but now we thought we are working in predict the evolution of scoliosis. It's very interesting work.
That's so interesting. You know, there's part of me that's like, well, I don't really want her to cure scoliosis, you know, because then what will I have to do? But this work that you're doing is so important, and it's so cool to hear some of the advances that you're making in the field. A question I had for you is, you can learn so much from yourself from an academic standpoint, from your CV and your resume. But what's something interesting about yourself that you want the listeners to know about you that they wouldn't be able to know just by looking at your CV? Something that like really makes you unique, about things you like to do, foods you like to eat, something you like to do for a hobby. Kind of, what's that unique thing that we wouldn't know about?
Do you know, I am a normal person. I like, do you know, I like very much surgery. I enjoy eating all kind of food, all kind of wine. I enjoy swimming, boxing. I am happy. I am a normal person. I am a spine surgeon, but regular one. I enjoy doing sports, swimming, snorkeling, sailing, and boxing. Really, it made me no different. It's like all of us. We need sometimes to enjoy life. Like I told you, I enjoy eating. I love eating, and I am all the time on diet. That makes me different, really.
I love that part. Yeah.
I don't think I am not unique. I am. I feel like a part of a team of people who love spine surgery, and really, I feel like this part of these people really.
So what would you tell a young surgeon who's just starting, or maybe a resident, or maybe a fellow, who wants to follow your footsteps, who want to do something innovative like you?
You know, I always tell my residents, please pick up something do you enjoy, because it's a very important part of your life. I spent a lot of time of my life with spinal surgery and to learn to be a surgeon. And that is very important, to choose some things do you like. Second thing is find some person to help you. You can do nothing alone. You always need someone. And go to the States, really. I enjoy to be in, it's not because you are American people, but really, I always feel comfortable. I always learn someone in the people of the States. And I think it's very important to go someplace, United States, Germany, England, someplace to learn from something different on your hospital, to look how the people is working, how the people is doing. But really, for me, it's very important to be in the state because they teach me how to want to be better. Really, is the thing I learned in the States.
That's so interesting. A question I had for you, Dr. Bas. Oftentimes, in many of our previous recordings, we've spoken to male surgeons about how do they achieve work-life balance. But some of, like that hidden thing in the question is, for a lot of us, our work-life balance is done because we have a spouse who's able to take so much of the load from us, especially if we also have children. I didn't ask you if you had a family, but if you do, or if you don't, what has work-life balance look like for you? And how have you found that it's been difficult or the same to do that as you've progressed up your career?
Thank you for the question. And yes, I have 2 children. And really, I think I have a wonderful husband. He helped me all the time with my career. I think it's very important to find something very intelligent with you, because then you can grow up. And always, as do you say, is difficult, the balance. I need to leave my daughter Isabel, is the youngest, 1 year here in Spain with my family, when I spend a year in the United States, because I don't have enough time to keep her. But really, with a family, with a husband, and sometimes it's hard, but I think I am lucky I can do it. But I agree with you. Sometimes it's difficult, the balance. I don't know how I can do. Now, sometimes I think about this, but I do it. I have a wonderful husband and I am lucky.
What does your husband do for a career?
My husband is doctor too, but he's making research.
Okay.
Yes. And he helped me all the time when I went to Germany, he told me, Teresa, you need to go there. And I stayed there for 3 months and I leave everything here. I leave Juan with my son and with my daughter, and I don't have any problems really at all.
Awesome. I think we all owe our spouses so much of the credit. When they look at our research and accomplishments, they don't realize the sacrifices that came behind that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
One last question, Dr. Teresa. Do you feel that at some point you felt like you had to be the best wife, the best mother, the best surgeon, and that was a lot of pressure for you?
Yes, I agree with you. I think I am the best surgeon. I don't know if I am the best mother, but my son and my daughter, I'm the best wife. But I think I try to do the best in all my chapter in my life. But really, I feel agree with myself. I think I put the best I can do for every place. And I don't know if as I told you, I don't know if my children can tell you, but I have 2 children. One is a lawyer in the United States, and the other one is a doctor. And she don't want to be a spinal surgeon, but she's a beautiful doctor. And I feel proud of them, really.
And that's all that matters. That's your legacy right there. And
yes.
And looks like they turned out just fine. So mine are really young, about 9 and 10 years old, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they turn out like. But Dr. Bas, we thank you so much for the time that you've taken to share information about your life, about your research, and just the pearls of wisdom. Certainly for Hispanic Heritage Month, you are absolutely one of the all-stars of the Scoliosis Research Society, and we just thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much to think in Teresa to speak about my life. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I think the next podcast we're going to have to have you and your sister on at the same time. That would be so cool.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctora Teresa.
Thank you. Espero verte, Astrid.
Igual. Espero conocerla pronto en persona.
Yo también. El próximo año a ver si nos dejan ir allí.
Sí. Un abrazo, doctora.
Exacto.
I really enjoyed it. I think you did awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope to see you at an SRS meeting sometime in the future.
Yes, please. I need to go there.
DePuy Synthes Spine, being a proud double diamond sponsor of the Scoliosis Research Society, would like to invite you to visit our professional education website at www.jnjinstitute.com and view the comprehensive surgical videos related to cervical and thoracolumbar deformity. For additional information, please contact your local sales representative.
The Scoliosis Research Society is a nonprofit professional organization made up of physicians and allied health personnel. Their primary focus is on providing continuing medical education for healthcare professionals and on funding and supporting research in spinal deformities. Please visit srs.org for further information.